Hi, hello, and welcome back to F1 Challenge VB. My name is Mephisto, and our epic journey through the history of Formula One continues today with the sixth round of the 1950 season, the French Grand Prix. The French Grand Prix was held on the 2nd of July. It had 22 entries, out of which 19 took part in the race, but only 11 of those managed to cross the finish line. The race consisted of 64 laps, which were completed in 2 hours, 57 minutes, and 52 seconds. The lineup at the start of the race was Fangio on pole, Farina second, Fagioli third, Itanserin fourth, and Cabantu started from fifth. Juan Manuel Fangio won the race, followed by Fagioli in second, 25.7 seconds behind. Peter White had finished the race in third and was 3 laps down. Robert Manzon was fourth and also 3 laps behind. Finally, the fifth spot was claimed by Philippe Tancelin and Eugène Chabot, who shared the car. They were 5 laps behind the leader, and the fastest lap was posted by Fangio, a 2:35.6. Now for a quick circuit walkthrough. As you can see, the track has a rather odd shape, almost forming a triangle, with 2 very long straights and a series of shorter ones. There are 3 named corners which I'm not going to even attempt to pronounce. Anyway, turn 3 is the first corner for which you need to slow down in order to make the corner. Then we have turn 7, or the second named corner. This one's really tricky because there's essentially a ramp just before the corner, so you need to slow down way sooner than you think you need to. Otherwise you'll just launch into the air and land in the hay bales. From there we go on to the longest straight on the track. Then we come into turn 8, or the third and final corner with a name, which is sort of a hairpin. Again, you need to start braking quite early for this one, as you won't be able to see the corner until you're actually passing through it. Then we come onto the main straightaway to finish the lap. Coming into turn 7 on my outlapping qualifying, I carry a bit too much speed through that little hill, jump into the air. Obviously brakes don't work that way, don't work in the air. Nearly crash into the hay bales. Luckily I managed to thread the needle through them, and now I'm ended up back here and stuck. It seems the car won't move, which is absolutely amazing. No, not really. It's actually quite annoying and frustrating. Not really sure what happened there, so let's give that another go. And there's a car in front of me, and a Ferrari crashes into that car, so we have accidents in the pits in qualifying here, so that's a good thing, I guess. Anyway, let's try to put in a lap time. Now coming into turn 8, I don't know what exactly was going on in my mind, but I kind of thought that the turn was a little bit further down the road, so I kind of ended up crashing into the hay bales there, breaking off both my front wheels and ending my qualifying. So here we have the grid walk, and we have Nino Farina on pole, Fagioli is second, Fangio third, Louis Rosier is fourth, and Felice Bonetto is rounding up the top 5. Next we have Prince Bira in 6th, Alberto Ascari is 7th in his Ferrari, Peter Whitehead 8th, Luis Giro 9th, Teo Serafini 10th. Next we have Raymond Sommet in 11th, Rec Parnell 12th in his Alfa Romeo, 13th is held by Cabantu, Joe Kelly is 14th in the Alta, Eugène Chabot 15th, David Hampshire 16th in his Maserati, Harry Schell 17th in the Soul Cooper, Crosley 18th, Robert Manzon 19th, Cuff Harrison 20th, Philippe Tancelin 21st, and last but not least our guy Andy Higgs in 22nd. So, here we are at the French Grand Prix at Reims, or Reims, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that, but I'm hoping to have a good race here. The can't talk today. Flag is dropped and we are off to a rather slow start. There's already a yellow flag. Robert Manzon is right in front of us in the Talbalago. We'll try to get around him as soon as possible, and as you can probably tell, there is a little bit of water on the track. There's quite a bit actually. So we pass Robert Manzo, move up into 21st, but I'm kind of cautious about the AI and the game lags a little bit. And look at that, 3 cars have already retired, so we move up into 19th. This is kind of good news for us, bad news for the AI as we now come into turn 6, then into turn 7, brake hard for this right-hander. Joe Kelly should be the next person who we overtake. He's now 4 seconds up the road, but now a replay of the start. Kind of slow for everyone, not just me. Not a lot happened actually, so at least not here at the back. I'm not sure if anything happened at the front of the grid. And there I am following the Simca Gordini. It was a Simca Gordini, not a Talbot, as I said in just a second ago. And we are now looking at Rack Parnell, who crashes into one of the Talbots, and he's out of the race, losing his front right wheel. And that's the replay once again, following the white French car. And now for Raymond Sommer in the Simca, who comes into this right-hander, loses control of the car, and he doesn't actually crash the car, it doesn't seem. However, he still decided to retire from the race, not entirely sure why. And now a replay of Robert Manzo. He's coming into turn 7, and we cannot see what's happening because what's happening is behind this camera, which is in the way. That's a bit annoying. Now coming into turn 7, not crashing this time thankfully. We are chasing after Crosley in the Alta, pass him, and we are up in 12 already. This is only the opening lap, and we've made quite good headway here, so hopefully things can go on like this. And now we're on this very long straightaway. Well, almost straight. There's a little bit of bend in it, but not much. Next we have Felipe Tanse. Oh, this is actually the start-finish straight. Sorry. Anyway, we have Felipe Tanselin in front of us, who is about 1 second in front. And we get a bit closer to him as we come up into turn 6 here, then into turn 7 immediately. Brake for the right-hander, and we close up in even more on Tanselin. But we have a replay. Crosley in his Alta is coming through that right-hander, loses control of the car by going a bit wide, touching the grass on the outside, and he is out of the race as well. Anyway, in the meantime, we get closer to these cars, and something happened there. I don't know what, but I think that the Ferrari of Peter Whitehead actually retired. And here is a replay. We're coming into that right-hander. I try to go past, but actually, I don't think there was contact, and I don't remember feeling anything in the wheel, so I don't know. I don't think there was contact. I guess the AI just kind of botched it up. And here is Fagioli coming into the pits. Why the hell? Why the hell? I mean, I've turned off fuel consumption and tire wear, so there's no reason for Fagioli to be in the pits, especially not this early on in the race. It's still lap 3 or 4 about this point. So, and he retired. Of course he did. Yeah, as I said, the pits are kind of bugged for the AI. Anyway, we are now up in 10th and chasing after Felipe Tanselin, who is 1.5 seconds up the road. A bit later on, we catch up to Tanselin and pass him, so we're now up in 8th and chasing after Alberto Ascari, who is about 3 seconds up the road. Let's try and pull in close in the gap even. And later on, we actually do that, so we are now up in 7th. However, Alberto Ascari isn't actually in the race, wasn't in the race, so he doesn't really count. Basically, we were in 7 up until now, and now we uh, overtake Cuff Harrison in the second ERA and move up into 6th. We are just 1 point below, 1 spot below the points. Harry Shell is next, so let's hope we can catch him. Now on lap 4, coming over this crest, I kind of mess it up and end up threading the needle through those haystacks, and we're back here. Hopefully I won't get stuck like I did in qualifying, because that would be rather annoying to have to retire because of it. And it looks like I am actually stuck. Come on. Come on. I know I can do it. Yeah. Ooh. Well, it seems that we're not stuck anymore, but we're down in 11th, so we lost a lot of time and a lot of places. I don't know if we can even score any points. Anyway, a few hundred meters later, I managed to overtake Serafini, so we're back up in 10th. Next is Joe Kelly in the Alta in front of us, and we overtake him as well very, very soon. So now let's try and catch Felipe Tancelin, who is some 17 seconds up ahead. Lap 7, and we finally catch up to Felipe Tancelin, pass him, and we're up in 8th. Next is Alberto Ascari, who, as I said before, isn't really in the race. Now coming into turn 8, I kind of mess up my corner and Tancelin overtakes me once again. But I keep in his slipstream, and hopefully soon I will be able to overtake him. And I do as we approach the start finish line, and we're back up in 8th. So once again we are chasing after Ascari, who again isn't actually in the race, so we are basically in 7th. Put the car on the outside, and we are through and up in 7th. Go wide a bit, and what 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 did what what did I just hit? Seriously? Okay, so here's the replay. There's a Seriously, there's an invisible wall there. Who who put that invisible why would you put a invisible wall in that place? Oh, come on. Well, this is the end of our race, I guess. Damn it. Well, there's not much I can say, really. This is quite annoying. Anyway, on lap 8, Etanceline also retired from the race. However, we can't see what he's done because this is behind that camera. And on lap 18, Farina also crashed, which is bad news for him because he was in second place, and if he were to finish his race in second, he would have taken the lead of the championship. However, as it stands, he doesn't. And here we see Juan Manuel Fangio coming home to finish the race and take the win. Prince Bira is second, Harry Shell is third, Cuff Harrison was fourth, David Hampshire sixth, Serafini seventh, and Joe Kelly eighth. And here are the retirements. Quite a few big names. We have Farina, Fagioli, Etancelin, Chiron, Ivan Bonetto, and Ascari, who didn't actually take part in the race. But yeah, this is actually a big outcome here because Farina will absolutely have to try to at least finish in second in the next race to win the have a chance to winning the championship. As for me, I don't have to do anything really, because if Farina retires from the Italian race, from the Italian Grand Prix, I can, well, not do anything and still win the championship. So I don't know. Although I think Harry Shell is close enough to actually win the championship. Well, has a possibility to. Don't know if he will be able to. But yeah, this is quite interesting. So, the last race of the season is going to be quite an exciting one, I guess. It will. So, we'll have to wait and see how things turn out. Anyway, here are Andy Higgs's career statistics. He's entered 6 Grand Prix. Best start is still in 10th. Best finish is first twice. Has a total of 25 points, 2 retirements, has completed 146 out of 175 total laps, has 2 bronze trophies, 2 gold trophies, and, as an extension, 2 podiums. So looking at the standings table here, as you can see, Andy Higgs is still in the lead, Farina is second. As I said, he absolutely must finish at least second and hope that I don't score points or don't score too many points in the next race, and that could help Farina win. There's also a slight possibility that Shell could win the championship, but for that he would not only have to win the race in Italy, he would also have to try and post the fastest lap to earn that extra point. Elsewhere on the table, we see Juan Manuel Fangio climbing into 5th place. Quite a nice comeback considering that his first 4 races ended in retirement. So he's doing quite well now in the second half of the season. But yeah, not much has changed on the rest of the table. Anyway, that is it for the French Grand Prix. Quite an interesting race here. I retired, Farina retired, so the standings at the top of the table are pretty much unchanged, and it will all come down to Italy to decide who the champion is in 1950. I don't really want to win, not necessarily. After all, this is Andy Higgs's so-called debut season, so he doesn't necessarily have to win. There are 66 other seasons to go through, maybe even more, we'll see. Anyway, that is it for the Italian Grand Prix, and from me, the French Grand Prix. The Italian Grand Prix is coming up next. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to vote for next season's team, link in the description. And as always, stay sharp.